32 of the best Quentin Tarantino side characters. Quentin Tarantino has garnered a reputation for a lot of standout elements in his work. Foul language and violence are always part of the equation, as are eclectic soundtracks and sharp, pop culture-centric dialogue. He's also amazing at inventing characters, and not just lead protagonists and key supporting players, but characters who only appear in a limited number of scenes and/or find a home in the background. It's to celebrate those particular and special creations that we have put together this feature. From Reservoir Dogs to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who are the best Quentin Tarantino side characters? We've highlighted 32 of them for you below. Lawrence Tierney as Joe Cabot in Reservoir Dogs. There's a scene in Reservoir Dogs where Tim Roth's Freddie Neuendijk describes Lawrence Tierney's Joe Cabot a la the Thing from the Fantastic Four, and it's perfectly apartment. Though Cabot only appears in a trio of scenes, the beginning, the end, and a mid-movie flashback, his projected energy is so imposing, massive, and memorable that he might as well be made out of orange rock. Stephen Wright as K. Billy DJ in Reservoir Dogs. Quentin Tarantino helped change movie soundtracks forever with his jukebox approach to music in Reservoir Dogs, and the cherry on top is Stephen Wright's voice, only performance as the unnamed DJ for K. Billy's super sounds of the 70s. His unmistakable monotone is a strange flavor introducing tracks like Little Green Bag and Stuck in the Middle with You, but the casting choice is perfection. Harvey Keitel as Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction. That's 30 minutes away. I'll be there in 10. In a crisis, you always want to be working with a person who knows how to both move fast and keep their cool, and that's Pulp Fiction's Winston Wolfe in a nutshell. The practically magical fixer character makes clean business out of dirty work, and his swagger is captivating. Christopher Walken as Captain Coons in Pulp Fiction. Considering how incredible Christopher Walken's career has been, it's actually a bit wild that one of his greatest performances is what could practically be called a cameo in Pulp Fiction, where he spends a single scene talking directly to the camera. Captain Coons' commitment to delivering the Coolidge family watch showcases him instantly as an honorable man, but the way in which he tells young Butch the story of the timepiece makes him unforgettable. Frank Whaley as Brett in Pulp Fiction. What were Brett and his friends planning on doing with the contents of Marcellus Wallace's mysterious briefcase? We have no idea, but that ambition is a great layer of the character to chew on while also appreciating the guy's futile attempt to stay cool while being interrogated by Samuel L. Jackson's Jules Winfield. Eric Stoltz as Lance as Brett in Pulp Fiction. Eric Stoltz as Lance may be a total skis, but he proves to be a perfect character to have in the mix when Uma Thurman's Mia Wallace is experiencing a drug overdose. He's the perfect blend of knowledgeable and incompetent to keep things interesting in the big panic sequence with John Travolta's Vincent Vega. Dennis Hopper as Clifford Worley in True Romance. In most movies, there is epic conflict when a cop discovers that his son has committed a crime, but I love that Dennis Hopper's Clifford Worley in True Romance breaks from that trope and simply opts to help his boy, Christian Slater's Clarence, and his new blushing bride, Patricia Arquette's Alabama. Brad Pitt as Floyd in True Romance. The fact that Dick Ritchie's stoner roommate is played by future A-lister Brad Pitt in True Romance is fun to recognize, but Floyd is independently a great side character, so totally zonked that he doesn't know he is putting his friends' lives in danger. Christopher Walken as Vincenzo Cocotti in True Romance. Dennis Hopper's Clifford Worley is tough as nails and really loves his son, and that warmth is perfectly contrasted with the coldness of Christopher Walken's Vincenzo Cocotti, who comes into True Romance for a single scene and raises the stakes of the movie through the roof with his icy demeanor and threatening presence. Val Kilmer as Elvis in True Romance. It's pretty wild that True Romance cast Val Kilmer to play a completely off-screen, imagined version of Elvis Presley, but it's one of the bits of brilliance in the film, as it's the king's words that ultimately motivate Clarence toward the life of which he dreams. Gary Oldman as Drexel Spivey in True Romance. In the context of the story in True Romance, Drexel Spivey is a terrible person and a bona fide stain on society, but boy, does he make an immortal impression during his limited scenes. It's Gary Oldman at his character actor best. Chris Tucker as Beaumont Livingston in Jackie Brown. Samuel L. Jackson's Ordell Robbie in Jackie Brown is a wannabe kingpin who is unwilling to have anybody mess up his ambitions by talking to the police. And Chris Tucker's Beaumont Livingston makes for a phenomenal conflict character in this respect. His motor mouth clearly demonstrates him as a threat, and fortunately for Ordell, he can't recognize the danger that the antagonist represents. Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. as Winston in Jackie Brown. Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. as Winston is principally a presence in Jackie Brown, but damn, what a presence! He is the hulking partner of Robert Forster's Max Cherry and adds muscle to the bail bondsman operation.